If you're thinking about upgrading your living room sound without running a tangle of speakers across the walls, the Sonos In-Wall by Sonance with amp is one of the cleanest ways to do it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent the last couple of weeks testing this setup in a 16 by 14 foot living room with vaulted ceilings, and I can tell you right away who this actually helps and who ends up frustrated. This isn't a quick Bluetooth bar you can unbox and forget. It's a permanent installation that rewards careful planning. If you're handy with drywall, or willing to hire someone, the payoff is a system that disappears into the walls while still sounding like it's in the room with you. If you rent or move often, skip it, you'll want something you can take with you. The core idea is simple: 2 in-wall speakers driven by a built-in amplifier, so you don't need a separate receiver. That single box tucked behind the wall handles HDMI ARC for your TV, an RCA line-in for a turntable, and streaming from the Sonos app, Apple AirPlay 2, or any voice assistant. In practice, that means one remote-free zone. Turn on the TV, and the sound comes from the same place you're already looking. No extra remotes, no volume wars between the soundbar and the TV. It just works once it's set up. Where the rubber meets the road is the tuning. Sonos calls it TruePlay, and it uses the MIC in your phone to measure the room's acoustics. In my room, the highs softened a bit and the bass tightened up without sounding boomy. If you've ever lived with speakers that sound great in the store, but muddy at home, that EQ step is worth the extra 10 minutes. The catch is you need to run the tuning every time you rearrange the furniture, or swap out drapes. It's not set and forget forever, but it's fast enough that I don't skip it. HDMI ARC is the feature that separates this from a basic soundbar. I hooked it up to a 2022 LG OLED and the dialogue was crisp, the action scenes didn't drown out the score, and I didn't have to toggle inputs. That's the real-world win: one cable from TV to wall, and you're done. The RCA line-in is handy if you still spin vinyl. I plugged in a Project Debut Carbon, and the warmth came through without any hum or hiss. If you're all streaming, though, you'll rarely touch that input. Now for the trade-offs. First, the install. You need a 6-inch round hole for each speaker, and a 14-inch square cutout behind the TV for the amp. If your walls are already open, great. If not, you're looking at drywall repair, insulation, and fishing wires. I had an electrician friend help, and it still took 2 hours. Second, the amp runs warm. In a tight wall cavity it can get toasty, so Sonos recommends at least 2 inches of clearance on all sides. If your stud bay is packed with insulation or plumbing, you may need to reroute or vent. Third, the speakers are sealed inside the wall, so you can't aim them later. If you mount them too high or too low, the soundstage shifts with you. Measure twice, cut once. Who should buy this? If you own your home, plan to stay 5+ years, and want a tidy, upgradable system without a rack of gear, this is it. It pairs with the rest of your Sonos ecosystem, so adding era speakers, or a sub later is seamless. If you're a movie night family, or a casual audiophile who hates clutter, the value clicks into place. Who should skip it? Renters, anyone who moves often, or people who want to crank bass-heavy music at 2 a.m. without waking the whole house. The sealed in-wall design isn't forgiving if your taste runs to hip-hop or EDM. Also, if you already have a receiver you love, the upgrade path isn't obvious. This is a wall-mounted replacement, not an add-on. Bottom line, the Sonos In-Wall with amp solves the cable chaos and remote clutter that usually come with home audio. It's not the cheapest way to get great sound, and it's not the easiest if you're not ready to cut holes in your walls. But once it's in and tuned, it disappears exactly what you want from in-wall speakers. Check the link in the description if you want to see the latest price and dimensions before you decide.